It is, in a sense, you could describe it as being the technological side of the Greek miracle.
A corroded chunk of bronze, hauled up from the depths of the Mediterranean, has turned our understanding of ancient history completely upside down. This odd-looking artifact is over 2 millennia old, yet inside, it hides gears so precisely made that they rival the craftsmanship of modern high-end watches, crafted long before anyone was supposed to know how to make such mechanisms. If something this advanced could vanish into obscurity for thousands of years, what other secrets might still lie buried beneath the waves? Could this suggest that humanity wasn't the first advanced civilization to tread the earth? Join us as we dive deep into the enigma of the Antikythera Mechanism. Like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible mysteries. The bronze mass sat on the table like it didn't belong in any era. 2,000 years beneath the sea had eaten away its surface, coating it in green corrosion that clung like a second skin. It felt dense and fragile in the hands, crumbling at the edges, almost like a diseased relic. Yet beneath this decay, something extraordinary glimmered. In 1902, Dr. Valerio Stace leaned in close, peering through his lens. What he saw made his blood run cold. Tiny, razor-sharp teeth, gears made with an accuracy that should have been impossible for that age. No bigger than coins, these pieces fit together like parts of a modern machine, yet they predated the first mechanical clock by over a millennium. As the corroded lump was pried open, it split like rotten fruit, revealing a puzzle nobody was prepared for. 82 fragments lay scattered across the table, each one a piece of a mechanism centuries ahead of its time. One large gear spanned 13 centimeters and carried 233 teeth, each carved so finely it could be mistaken for contemporary engineering. Scratched across the bronze were ancient Greek inscriptions. Ray of the sun, mentions of Aphrodite, and even long-forgotten Egyptian months. The markings seemed hurried, almost desperate, as if someone had been racing to preserve knowledge they feared might be lost forever. The room fell silent as scientists examined the fragments. 30 gears, then more, each meshing perfectly with the next. The precision was staggering, so exact it implied tools and knowledge the ancients were never thought to possess. Even the bronze itself was recycled, possibly salvaged from older machines, hinting at technologies far older than imagined. Some teeth measured just 1 millimeter, carved by hand in an era when literacy was a privilege. It wasn't just impressive, it was unsettling. X-rays revealed even more, hidden layers of gears still sealed within the lump, forming a design so advanced it looked like a machine made to predict the future. Ancient Greeks were supposed to work with simple pulleys and levers, not a complex astronomical computer. The academic world erupted in shock. Some dismissed it as a forgery. Others claimed it must have been part of a later shipwreck. Yet the fragments spoke for themselves. The historical record had it wrong. It would take over a century to fully decipher this device. But from the first moment, one thing was undeniable. Humanity had climbed this mountain of knowledge before and lost everything. But this corroded bronze wasn't just lying there by chance. It came from a shipwreck that would forever rewrite archaeology. What other secrets did that sunken vessel conceal? The Mediterranean in 60 BCE was unforgiving. Waves battered a wooden merchant ship, while violent winds tore its sails. The sea itself seemed aware of the cargo it carried. The ship's hold contained more than wine and oil. Greek bronze statues, marble figures from Asia Minor, delicate Egyptian glass, treasures of art and knowledge. And buried among them, wrapped carefully in cloth, lay a bronze device that would remain a mystery for 2,000 years. The storm didn't wait. The ship sank swiftly, taking at least 4 crew members to the deep, their names lost to time. The wreck settled off Antikythera, an island infamous for piracy and shipwrecks. Nearly 18 centuries passed. In 1900, sponge divers from Simi were searching the seafloor when Elias Lycopantis descended 40 meters below, expecting only sand and silence. Instead, he found the unimaginable. Rows of bodies, lifeless and still, lying like soldiers fallen in battle. Captain Demetrius Kondos went down to investigate. He discovered massive bronze and marble statues strewn across the seabed, arms, faces, torsos, frozen in time. The Greek government sent archaeologists, marking the world's first underwater excavation. What emerged was baffling. The items came from different places and eras. Coins dated the wreck between 76 and 67 BCE, but the collection suggested a larger purpose. This wasn't just trade, it was a careful curation of the highest knowledge and artistry from across civilizations. Amid nearly 100 sculptures lay a corroded lump of bronze, broken, battered, yet inside, tiny, precise gears that should not have existed 2,000 years ago. Years of study revealed a startling truth. The ship carried more than treasures. It transported knowledge, collected and transported perhaps by scholars working across borders, connecting Greece, Egypt, and Rome in an intellectual network that modern borders would never capture. The divers thought they had discovered wealth. What they uncovered was a warning. Civilizations rise, civilizations fall, and maybe, just maybe, we are not the original pioneers we believe ourselves to be. And when researchers finally peered inside the bronze enigma, what they discovered didn't just surprise them. It shattered everything we thought we knew. How could a machine of such sophistication exist 2,000 years ago? The moment researchers began stripping away the corroded bronze, they had no idea what awaited them. Dozens of interlocking gears, 69 in total, gazed back like tiny mechanical eyes. These were no rough, hand-forged wheels. Each one had teeth just a millimeter long, cut with a precision that would rival a modern watchmaker's finest work, yet crafted over 2,000 years ago. And every gear had a purpose. The largest stretched 13 centimeters across and carried exactly 233 teeth, carefully calculated to create ratios that still baffle engineers today. Whoever built this knew advanced mathematics and mechanical principles far ahead of their time, but the gears were only part of the wonder and the mystery. On the face of the device sat a circular dial ringed with markers. The inner circle divided the zodiac into 12 sections, each split into 30 precise parts. This was no decoration. It was a tool to track the sun's journey across the sky with astonishing accuracy, far beyond what historians thought ancient civilizations could manage. The outer ring aligned with the Egyptian calendar. Even more astounding, it accounted for the slow drift of the calendar over time, a problem that modern astronomers wrestle with for years. And yet, someone, 2 millennia ago, had already solved it. They had built a machine to follow the heavens. The true shock, however, came with the lunar pointer, a small sphere, half black, half white, which rotated to show the moon's exact phase on any given day. The gearing behind it modeled the moon's irregular orbit, speeding up and slowing down as it moved across the sky, a calculation that wouldn't appear again until the Renaissance, more than 1,000 years later. Turn the device over, and 5 more dials worked together to predict eclipses using the Saros cycle, an ancient method for mapping solar events. This bronze mechanism could forecast eclipses years in advance, all with the simple turn of a crank. It didn't stop there. The gears even tracked the timing of the Olympic Games and other religious festivals, linking human events to celestial movement. Tiny Greek inscriptions covered the bronze, almost like a detailed manual etched into metal. So far, researchers have deciphered roughly 3,000 of an estimated 15,000 characters, revealing instructions for reading the dials and operating the device, a full knowledge system embedded into bronze. The craftsmanship alone implies years of labor by expert teams, and yet this might not have been the only one. Ancient texts hint at similar devices, possibly constructed by Archimedes himself. Modern horologists studying the Antikythera Mechanism are often left speechless. Each gear tooth, just 1 millimeter long, was cut with perfection that today's Swiss engineers would envy. The bronze itself wasn't simply cast, it was hammered, filed, and calibrated with painstaking care. Even now, scientists would need electron microscopes to fully grasp the workmanship. The gears weren't random pieces of metal. They were made from a carefully chosen bronze alloy, reducing friction and ensuring durability. The builders understood machine longevity on a level not seen again until the Industrial Revolution. But here's where the story deepens. Ancient writers like Cicero mention similar devices credited to Archimedes and the philosopher Posidonius. According to him, these machines could track the stars and predict eclipses. This wasn't myth. These were functioning devices, just like the Antikythera Mechanism. And building one was no small feat. Constructing a single device would have required thousands of hours from highly skilled metalworkers, mathematicians, and astronomers. The cost would have been astronomical, likely the equivalent of funding an entire modern research laboratory. These machines were never meant for ordinary citizens. They were the tools and status symbols of the elite, rulers, scholars, and royal astronomers, with the means to gather the best minds and resources. They weren't for public knowledge. They were private, secretive, and powerful, which raises a chilling question. If devices this sophisticated existed 2,000 years ago, what other knowledge did the elite possess that never reached the rest of the world? What innovations were created, used, and then deliberately hidden from history? The construction of the Antikythera Mechanism tells a story all on its own. It was housed in a wooden case, reinforced with bronze plates, and operated by a single knob that set the entire system in motion. Tiny Greek inscriptions covered its surface, acting like a private instruction manual, not meant for the general public. Whoever handled it didn't need to learn the stars or the calendar. They already knew. What they required was precision, results, control. Some researchers theorize that devices like this were heirlooms, handed down through elite families like secret treasures. They gave their owners power over time itself, dictating when festivals should occur, when crops should be sown, and even when the sun and moon would align in darkness. But one question lingers. If ancient Greece had machines of this sophistication, what else might have been lost? How much knowledge vanished when other mechanisms were destroyed, melted down, or simply forgotten? The Antikythera Mechanism survived only because it sank with a ship and stayed buried for 2,000 years. Everything else? Lost to history. Even more chilling is the trail of its origin. The mathematical precision of its gears points toward a startling possibility. This machine may carry the legacy of Archimedes, the greatest mind of the ancient world. Though Archimedes perished in 212 BCE during the siege of Syracuse, his ideas lived on, quietly shaping inventions centuries later. Evidence suggests the Antikythera Mechanism was built after his death, likely by disciples or followers preserving his hidden knowledge. The astronomical models encoded in its gears align with calculations he developed decades earlier, demonstrating an understanding of planetary cycles, gear ratios, and eclipse prediction that would not be matched for over a millennium. Somewhere along the line, theories written on parchment were translated into metal. For years, scholars believed Corinth was the birthplace of the device, a city known for skilled artisans and astronomical study. Inscriptions referencing Corinthian festivals seem to confirm this, but further investigation complicates the picture. Evidence points to Epirus, a region in northwest Greece closely connected with Rhodes, home of the astronomer Hipparchus, whose lunar theories are reflected in the mechanism's inner workings. Rhodes also served as a crossroads between Greece and Rome, a place where rare ideas and tools circulated among the elite. The ship carrying the mechanism was bound for Rome, alongside marble statues, bronze artworks, delicate glass, and luxury amphorae, carefully selected treasures, not ordinary trade goods. This wasn't a merchant shipment, it was a private collection, likely commissioned by someone with immense wealth and influence. To own a device like this was to command the past, the present, and even the heavens. In a world of powerful Roman generals and statesmen, an astronomical computer would have been the ultimate symbol of mastery over time itself. Even the device's calibration hints at meticulous planning. Set to begin tracking on December 23rd, 178 BCE, the winter solstice, the choice was intentional, aligned with a celestial event. Whether it was constructed years earlier or tuned later using records, the precision reveals knowledge that spanned generations. Coins and jars recovered from the wreck date the voyage to between 67 and 51 BCE, during the height of Rome's conquest of Greece. The mechanism never reached its intended owner, lost instead to the depths of the Mediterranean. This raises a haunting thought. If only one survived by chance, how many others made it safely to Roman villas, hidden in libraries or displayed as symbols of prestige, only to disappear when the empire collapsed? What knowledge was erased from human history? The Antikythera Mechanism doesn't just rewrite our understanding of Greek technology. It shatters the timeline of human progress. Its complex gears suggest something most scholars hesitate to admit. Advanced civilizations may have risen and fallen long before our own, leaving only fragments of their achievements. The precision of its epicyclic gearing should have been impossible before the Renaissance. Its astronomical calculations rival those in 20th century software, yet they were encoded in bronze over 2,000 years ago. And the mechanism is not an isolated anomaly. Other artifacts hint at similar forgotten sophistication. The Baghdad battery suggests early electrical knowledge in Mesopotamia. The Lycurgus cup, from the 4th century, changes color due to nanoscale structures. Damascus steel was forged with techniques so advanced they were lost for centuries before being replicated in modern metallurgy. Taken together, these remnants suggest a dark, cyclical pattern. Civilizations rise, master advanced knowledge, and then collapse, erasing nearly all evidence of their achievements. The Antikythera Mechanism may be the surviving proof of one such lost golden age, a whisper from a civilization far more advanced than we have imagined. Around 1200 BCE, the Bronze Age collapsed, wiping out entire civilizations. Centuries later, the Library of Alexandria burned, erasing thousands of scrolls filled with knowledge we will never recover. When Rome fell, much of the Western world slid into centuries of stagnation. With each collapse, generations of learning vanished. The question that haunts researchers most is this: if mechanical computers like the Antikythera Mechanism existed, what else has been lost? What other devices, inventions, or discoveries were destroyed, hidden, or simply forgotten? This particular machine survived only because it sank to the ocean floor, protected from time, theft, and human interference. Its very existence proves that ancient scientists understood the cosmos in ways still difficult for us to grasp. They used mathematics to track planetary movements, predict eclipses, and mark celestial events with a precision medieval astronomers could hardly imagine. This wasn't superstition or mythology, it was science, lost to time. The idea that human progress moves in a straight line falls apart when you confront this reality. History may not climb upward, it may spiral. Civilizations rise, reach extraordinary heights, and then fall, taking their knowledge with them. The Antikythera Mechanism may be a fragment from one of those earlier peaks, a moment when mathematics, astronomy, and engineering were so advanced that it would seem futuristic even today. If that's true, we aren't breaking new ground. We're retracing forgotten steps. Modern technology may merely echo the work of civilizations erased by war, disaster, or neglect. Within that corroded box, ancient gears turned with knowledge precise enough to calculate planetary motions still debated today. They followed cycles that modern astronomers study with massive telescopes, a mastery of space and time already achieved and then lost. But what if this wasn't the work of a single genius, but evidence of something far more extraordinary? The story deepens when you examine the mechanism's bronze plates. These aren't just examples of Greek ingenuity. They reveal a network of knowledge spanning continents. Babylonian lunar cycles appear alongside Egyptian calendars, while the precision-cut gears reflect metalwork perfected in Syrian workshops. Every component hints at a forgotten world where information flowed freely across Mediterranean trade routes. The Mediterranean was more than a sea. It was a knowledge superhighway. Ships carried far more than wine, marble, and olive oil. They transported scrolls, tools, astronomical tables, and mechanical designs. The same vessel that sank with the Antikythera Mechanism also carried Syrian glass, marble from Asia Minor, and coins from Sicily. This wasn't a random collection. It points to a sophisticated system of exchange connecting scholars and cities in ways we still struggle to understand. The mechanism's calendar system adds another layer. Its gears reference Egyptian months, Babylonian eclipse cycles, and Syrian stargazing traditions. Whoever designed it had access to hundreds of years of accumulated knowledge, cross-referencing and refining multiple cultural systems into a single, unified device. The craftsmanship tells the same story. No single artisan could have made this alone. Bronze processed in one region, parts shaped in another, gears designed using Babylonian mathematics and Egyptian metallurgical techniques. This was a coordinated effort across cultures. This wasn't simple collaboration. It was a massive, organized transfer, or perhaps even theft, of intellectual wealth. Inscriptions on the device reference Corinthian months, festival dates from multiple Greek city-states, and technical terms found in ancient Mesopotamian records. Someone had collected the most advanced knowledge of the ancient world and forged it into a machine capable of predicting celestial events and measuring time. The Antikythera Mechanism is more than a scientific instrument. It is evidence of a hidden network of thinkers, traders, and artisans exchanging ideas across borders and seas. Most of their work left no written trace, but this device speaks of large-scale coordination, shared goals, and technologies that would vanish for over 1,000 years. Yet, networks like these don't simply disappear by accident. The shipwreck may have been caused by a storm, but a storm doesn't explain why no similar devices survived. Someone had intended the mechanism for a recipient, a powerful individual waiting to receive it, and after that moment, nothing else has been found. If this secret network could create the Antikythera Mechanism, it likely produced even more astonishing devices, and it is just as likely that something or someone was powerful enough to erase them from memory, leaving behind only scattered fragments and one rusted survivor pulled from the sea. For over a century, the corroded bronze fragments sat unnoticed in museum storage, hiding secrets that would astound even the most skeptical scientists. The rediscovery began quietly, with curators noticing inconsistencies in the inventory. Official records listed only 3 main pieces, but when experts employed advanced imaging techniques, they uncovered 82 separate fragments, revealing that someone had once concealed the mechanism's full scale. The true story of its complexity and genius had been hidden for generations, waiting to be revealed. The missing fragments of the Antikythera Mechanism contained inscriptions that completely altered how researchers understood its purpose. For decades, human eyes had missed these details, but modern technology was about to reveal them. CT scans pierced through layers of corrosion, exposing hidden gears and internal systems that no one had believed the ancient world could produce. Reflectance transformation imaging revealed faint Greek letters etched into surfaces so tiny that some inscriptions were carved on gear teeth smaller than a fingernail. The craftsmanship was beyond anything historians imagined from 2,000 years ago. Then, artificial intelligence entered the investigation. Machine learning algorithms were trained to cross-reference the mechanism's fragmented texts with tens of thousands of historical records. What they uncovered stunned researchers. The device referred to celestial events and predicted eclipses with an accuracy not confirmed until the 16th century. In precision, it rivaled even today's most advanced computers. But the revelations didn't stop there. Hidden within the bronze plates were microscopic symbols, nearly invisible without magnification. These were not mere decorations. They were coordinates, and the locations they marked were no accident. They pointed to other sites across the Mediterranean where similar devices might be buried. The Antikythera Mechanism was not a standalone marvel. It was part of a much larger network, ancient machines still lying dormant beneath layers of soil, rock, and time. The scientific world froze at the implications. If one survived only by sinking with a ship, how many others never made it? How many are still waiting to be discovered? Archaeologists began scanning the AI-generated coordinates with ground-penetrating radar, uncovering repeating patterns of buried metal under ancient ruins in multiple regions. One finding was especially alarming. Within the mechanism's calendar system, AI researchers decoded formulas that went beyond tracking the heavens. These instructions appeared to model human behavior, using celestial patterns to anticipate and perhaps even influence events on Earth. The creators were not just observing the sky, they were attempting to shape life below it. Excavations in Syria, Egypt, and Sicily have now revealed fragments of similar devices, each seemingly more advanced than the last. The emerging picture is not that of a single invention, but of an entire lost civilization, one with profound knowledge of astronomy, metallurgy, mathematics, and possibly social engineering. The most chilling discovery came from the AI's final analysis. Hidden deep within the plates was a warning, clearly intended for future generations. It stated that their knowledge had become too dangerous, so the machines were scattered across the world to prevent anyone from uncovering them all. Their technology was meant to remain hidden, but that warning has been broken. And with every new excavation, one terrifying thought looms. If these machines were deliberately buried to protect the future from their power, recovering them could unleash forces we are not prepared to control. Other advanced technologies may still lie hidden beneath the earth, not by accident, but by design, concealed by minds who fully understood the consequences if their secrets were revealed. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want more mysteries like this, check out the video on your screen. We'll see you on the other side.